my name's Amy. I'm an indie author with 8 published books, and today I'm going to be talking about why I'm not setting any writing deadlines in 2020. So it is the start of a new year. It's a time when we're all thinking about the year ahead and our plans, our goals, our resolutions. And this time last year, for me, I was also setting a lot of deadlines. I attempted at the start of 2019 to schedule my entire year. I planned to work on 3 books. I was going to edit them one after another and release them. It was an ambitious schedule, but I felt like I could keep up with it, and it was going to lead to a really good release schedule for me. In case it isn't already abundantly obvious, my schedule did not go to plan. I started off quite well. I wrote 50,000 words in January, then I moved into editing a book called Lady of Swords. This was supposed to take me, I think, 3 months. It took more like 4 or 5. By the spring, I was definitely behind on everything. I released Lady of Swords and I was very happy with how that book went, but I then had a decision to make. I could carry on and try to finish the books that I'd already scheduled and just push them a bit further back in the year, or I could do something completely different, and that was what I chose to do. I ended up drafting a completely different book for Camp NaNoWriMo in July, and honestly, after that, my schedule for the second half of 2019 just did not match my plan at all. Obviously, this could just be an isolated event. I could have replanned, I could have carried on, I could have met my goals, but the problem is I do this every single time I set deadlines. I am really not very good at telling how long it's going to take me to finish a book. And I've done this a lot of times now, but every book is so incredibly different. What I typically end up doing is setting a really ambitious deadline and then failing to meet it. Even when I think I'm being sensible with my deadlines, invariably something comes up that means they completely fall by the wayside. Alternatively, I could set deadlines that are a long way ahead and that I know I absolutely can meet. But to be honest, that just ends up with me being complacent. I don't exactly leave everything to the last minute because I'm not that sort of writer, and I wasn't like that when I was at uni either. But instead, I just do not work as hard as I could do. My year of not following my deadlines in 2019, though, has taught me a lot about how I work. And it's meant that I'm going to be making some big changes in 2020. Now, first of all, I do have writing goals. This is essential for me. I need to know what I'm working on at the moment and what my priority is. And I also really like to know what is coming next. I will sometimes schedule this 3 or 4 books in a row, particularly if I'm working on a series. So I know all my major priorities for 2020, and I also know what order they have to come in. Obviously, I need to finish the first book in a series before I write the second one, and so on. I could definitely set deadlines for these books. In previous years, I definitely would have done so. This year, though, I am trying something else. Instead of a big overarching deadline, like I will edit this book in 4 months, I am just setting weekly goals. Now, I've done this for a really long time. I use a bullet journal and I have a weekly spread, and every week I decide how much of a particular project I want to get done. When I'm editing, that's usually a time goal. If I'm drafting, it might be a word count goal. And I'm pretty sensible about setting these goals. I do have quite a good idea of how much I can get done in a week. I will nearly always manage to reach or slightly surpass my weekly work goals, which is a really good feeling, I have to say. And so that is how I'm going to function in 2020. I know my priority projects and I know how much of them I can do every week. So I'm going to set those weekly goals and meet them consistently, or as consistently as I can. And the books will be done when they are done. In some ways, I hate saying that because I like planning ahead and I like knowing how my entire year is going to look. But I've never yet managed to get it right. Something always changes. This way, I'm hoping I'm giving myself the flexibility to work on other things if other projects intrude, but also giving myself sensible goals to work on week by week. And I'm very much hoping that this will cut out a lot of stress from my life. I hate missing deadlines. But to be honest, a lot of my missing of deadlines is out of my control. I have a job, I have a toddler. These things take up a lot of my time. So whilst my deadlines might be perfect if I didn't have those things to contend with, in the real world, they are never really going to be achievable. So I'm scrapping them all together. And instead, I will just be focusing on weekly productivity. To be honest, this is something I also did in NaNoWriMo of 2019. I saw an awful lot of people in 2019 starting to feel that NaNoWriMo wasn't really for them. Having the huge goal just made them very stressed and massively burnt out when the month was over. I was plodding away through editing a book and continued to work on it throughout December. Progress was very slow and steady, but I've said before that this is how I prefer to work. I think it has just taken a while for my preference for setting big goals to actually catch up with the reality of my life. The deadlines I've set in previous years have done nothing to help me be more productive. It's taken me a long time to realise that, to be honest. But now that I have, I hope 2020 is going to be a really good writing year. So I would love to know how your goal setting and deadline setting and project planning is shaping up for 2020. I know deadlines definitely do work for some people, so please tell me about yours if you've set them. Or if you've decided that deadlines just aren't the way to go, please tell me what you're working on instead. Here's hoping for a very happy, healthy, and productive 2020 for all of us. I have got lots of books to write, and I'm sure you all have too. Keep writing, everyone, and I'll see you next time.